Hello everybody, my name is Vlad Antonov and I'm from Single Stop for Software Quality, and today I would like to talk to you about what is really quality, how do companies go about quality, and what do they consider to be a good quality product. Well, a good quality product is the one that has fewer defects that escape to production. So a defect that escaped to production is something that happened in production when the feature or product has been released. That's a simple definition. The way you want to consider this is you have a team of developers and QA, right? And together that team is producing a product and testing the product. And at some point when there aren't many defects being found in test, the QA team recommends releasing it to production. Now, let me just stop here for a second, right? In most of the organizations, actually let's say in many organizations, development team and QA team are sort of like two different entities, right? Sort of like friends and enemies, or frenemies, where developer thinks that their responsibility is to develop a code and QA tests that. Now, this is a absolutely wrong approach that will lead the organization to believe less in QA, a department as a whole, right? Let me give you an example. So developer A writes a feature and does a very poor job testing it, right? And then sends it over to QA. QA starts finding all these big problems, start reporting pre-release defects. Pre-release is something that is found in test, and sends them back. And there's a back and forth until this is released, until QA approves it. Now, from the upper management, when the product gets delayed because of the situation, because of this back and forth, the showstopper is QA. Like, they're the ones who hold the release out, and in many situations, that is a conversation that they have in senior levels. What they don't have a conversation like, well, why is QA is a showstopper all the time? Well, maybe it's because development is not doing the work that they should be doing testing, like writing unit tests, writing integration tests. One of the things that you need to get support on and be in an organization that actually supports development writing their tests, like unit tests, integration tests. And they should be really proud of sending the new feature over to test, where test would find some minor issues and be done with it. If in test you're finding major issues, that means the feature has not been tested at all by a qualified developer. Now, this video is not about bashing the developers or QA, but you can see that in many situations this could get into the wrong conversation with senior management. Now, let's talk about things going into production, right? How does organization, not Q organization, like the whole organization, thinks about a product going out, right? Now, when the product is ready, it goes to production, and of course there will be issues coming back. And one of the reasons why issues will be coming back is because most likely the variations and the edge cases and everything that you have in the customers, they will be able to do way more than you can cover in test in-house with whatever size of the team you have. Unless you have an army of thousands of engineers and manual QAs, you'll probably not be able to cover all the edge cases, all the scenarios, and that's okay. That's a reality. But what do organizations think about? Having QA as a separate entity, and what mistakes they make in calculating that benefit or non-benefit. So one of the ways they do that is they look at issues found in pre-release and then in post-release and do a simple calculation called Defect Escape Ratio, and that tells them, how good of a job QA team does testing. And when I say QA, I really want to say development plus QA. But in many situations, it's QA in their own entity, and development is in their own entity, and that is absolutely wrong. I'll talk more about this in my videos, but today, just for a specific purpose, I'll tell you one of the metrics that QA managers use and provide information to is defect escape ratio. So an example would be you have a feature A that in test produced 100 defects. It was approved to be released because all the defects either were fixed or were mitigated, got into production, and let's say within a month, it produced 200 defects. So 100 in-house, 200 outside. Sounds like a scary number. And the simple ways to calculate defect escape ratio is to take that 100 pre-release, divide by total of pre and post-release. So it's 100 by 300, right? And then what do you get? You get 33%. Just need to double check myself. 33% escape ratio rate. That's pretty high percent. And depending on how many of them were criticals, if their criticals or defects are the ones that actually make you roll back your changes, and you know, hopefully you didn't have 200 of those. Obviously, then you'd be in real trouble. But let's say they're non-critical. They're just regular defects, which is a good thing, but a big number is not a good thing. So 33% ratio is pretty high. And industry standard is about 10 to 15, where I don't think anybody ever hits 10, but 15 is a good number. So you're double than that, right? And if you keep having that, then somewhere at the top level, management will wrongly think that why we have a QA team. They're not worth it, we're not getting anything out of it. And that's where they could potentially make cut. Now, the problem is they asked the wrong question. They asked the question about specific team, but what they should be asking questions about organization. It takes development and QA working together to get good quality, where development writes a feature, writes a unit test, writes integration tests, and even does some manual testing before handing it over to QA. So what's the point of this video, actually, I want to make, is that the more senior you grow on the team, the more pushback you should have on development to test their stuff. And you know when the stuff is not tested is because when you get features from them, they're completely broken out of the box. You're finding Sub 1, Sub 2s all over the place. That means developer hasn't done anything to test their stuff. So in your organization, do your best to support a collaborative work environment between development and test, and you will be in a better place. I'll give you an example. Organization that I work in, our defect escape rate is about 20%, which is still high, but we're working to driving it down. More videos in single stop for software quality. Like them and subscribe for more videos like this.